E360 TV proudly presents messages of inspirational stories. Live streaming now to millions of devices, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, with your host, Donna Guimwa, producer and host, Jim Grant, producer and host, along with Michaela Vidal, administrator and host, and Gaia Guimwa Balconi Wada, editor-in-chief. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I'm joined today by my good friend, Mr. Emerson Brantley, Director of Marketing with us. And it's an honor to have Emerson here. Emerson, we're so honored that our show is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com. And Emerson, you know a little bit about the 6-minute webinar, don't you, brother?
Yeah, speaking around the country, you may have a 30-minute or 45-minute or hour talk that you do, but inevitably what happens is you show up at an event. If there's more than one speaker, this will happen many more times. But you show up at an event and suddenly your time has been crunched down to, hey, can you do this in 30 minutes? Or can you do this in 40 minutes? Or we're running late for lunch. Yeah, is another good one. So all of these things. And one of the beauties of this program that Jim has been part of, the 6-minute webinar, one of the beauties is that you literally, in a matter of minutes, can go in, put in the key points, and have a script that you can run with on the fly and get all of the key points that you want done. If you're trying to do it on your own, no matter how many hundreds of times you've spoken, I can tell you this personally, your head is going in this direction. I know I need to leave that out. No, and you're trying to hit the key points. This gives you a very easy script that you can use. And literally 6 minutes sounds crazy, but it works.
Yes, it really does, because a lot of the times, being I used to own a manufacturing business, and people ask you, if you own a business, if you're an online marketer or an entrepreneur or solopreneur, whatever your title is there, and people ask you, what is it that you do? Well, trying to get that answer out, especially when you got a product that you want to present to a customer, you need the 6-minute webinar, because it's very detail focused. It takes away the shotgun effect, because this product or service that you have can help your ideal client, and you want to communicate directly to your ideal client. So
I'll never forget it. I had a particular event. I had flown to DC, and I was speaking at a regional meeting for the Veterans of Foreign Wars. And I had a program that we were launching nationwide. Some of the viewers have heard me talk about it before. But now I've flown to DC. I'm staying in a hotel. There's expense involved. And I show up and they ask me if I can, look, we really thought this and that and the other, but so-and-so had this person and that person. And, can you do this in about 10 or 15 minutes? And it wasn't a 10 or 15 minute talk. I had to do it, and I did it. But the thing is, a program like this in just a few minutes can give you exactly the scripting that you need so that you can do something like that. And it's just, and for online Jim, doing Zoom calls and things like that, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. You literally go down by the numbers. And to give you a good example, the 6-minute webinar, you can probably get your message across much quicker than me and Emerson sat here and tried to explain it. It's that good. But before we start with our guest and also part 2 of our program from last Monday, I want to give a shout out to a little company that's meant a lot to me. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, I never endorse anything that I do not use, and I'm not paid for this endorsement. This is a nicety to know. Back around 1958, I might have been 10 years old, 11 years old, and I was anemic. And the only thing I knew as a kid was that I'd get lightheaded and it scared me. And my mother took me to the doctor and they checked my blood and all that, and my hemoglobin, and they found out that I was anemic. And my mother asked the doctor, "What can we do?" And he was a simple country doctor. He was a results oriented doctor. He wanted me to be able to
Direct
give me,
response.
yeah, exactly. Give me something to help me get going. Ladies and gentlemen, he told my mother to go down to the local drugstore, and you can get this product just about anywhere. And he says, "You give him this, and this is all he'll need. I have used this product specifically when I feel tired. If I feel like just run down a little bit, I'll take a tablespoon of it and I'll put it into a glass of water. I'll drink it at night and let it recharge my battery so I'm ready to go in the morning." Ladies and gentlemen, this product is no more than 3S Tonic. I don't know if the camera there is going to pick that up or not. 3S Tonic. They're out of Atlanta, Georgia, I think. But I want to give those folks a shout out because you may not be able to see. You can hear a little bit in there. I got to get some more. I keep it in my refrigerator. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have, if you feel tired and run down a little bit, my recommendation to you is take a look at 3S Tonic, because it's been a wonderful product for me over the decade. And I just want to give them a shout out and say thank you for making a good product. And let's get
Always
right
a
into the
surprise,
show
Rick.
here. Huh?
Always a surprise.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I mean, that's
Let's
what
bring
our
on our
show's
guest.
Yeah, that's what our show's about, is providing good information. And we got Mr. Rick Cesari with us again today. This is part 2 of how to make a difference in your business and using direct response.
And if any of you missed the previous show,
thank you for joining us.
If you missed the previous show for this, Rick went into some really good detail on how you should always be thinking about direct response and always have an offer. Oh gosh, that's such a basic one, Rick, but they miss it. Always have something you can upsell. If people make a decision to buy, that's the moment that they are ready to go ahead and make another decision. And I think we have a few more today that you're going to be covering, and I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm glad you guys want me to keep coming back because I really enjoy these conversations, and I'm learning a lot of things just listening to the wisdom that you guys are sharing too. So I'm really glad to be on the show again. Thank you.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you on the show because we go back a ways. We're all met down at Speaking Empire, a great organization where we met, and that's where we met Emerson. And the thing that we really enjoy about doing this show, all of us, Rick and Emerson and myself, is the amount of value that we're providing to people. Because I remember when I started out, goodness gracious, trying to find the right information to someone help me get from where I am to where I want to be. I don't know about you folks, but for me, it was like pushing a chain uphill, and it was an expensive chain I was pushing uphill. Amen. We've all been there. And early in the previous show, I should say, you started out with talking about how to have always think direct response. That was number 1 on the list. That means a mindset. And I really like the way that you went into detail and shared information on that. And Emerson, on the last show last week, Rick brought out some great points about that, didn't he?
He sure did. And any of you who missed it should go back and see it. Mm-hmm. And there was they seem like simple things to us, but something that I've had to come to understand over the years, and probably you have too, Rick. For me, it's like looking in the back of my hand. This stuff just makes common sense, right? Mm-hmm. But for so many people in business, and businesses of all sizes, because I've worked with mom and pop startups all the way up to Fortune 100s as you have, it's not like the back of their hand to think about things like always have an offer. Holy cow, what an idea. Or always have an upsell when people have bought. Yes. That's the moment they're looking,
Yeah.
they're ready and,
Mhm.
and are interested in what else can I get? And these are simplistic concepts to
Yeah.
you and to me,
Mhm.
but I mean, this is like revelation knowledge for people. And today, I think you're going to be starting out talking about USP, or unique selling proposition, or the way I like to put it, unique value proposition for a business. What is it
Yeah.
that makes you, that gives you a reason, it gives me a reason to listen to you, to buy from you, to deal with you instead of somebody else or
Somebody
something else.
else. What
Mhm.
what makes you different? Not better, different.
Just
That's
different.
yep.
There you go.
That's the key. And again, it's one of those simple things, but it's such a foundational concept that you really need if you're going to try to be building a business and separating yourself from the competition. It's the
Mhm.
unique selling proposition. I call it my direct to consumer marketing rule number 4. And just so you know, and you can get this if anyone emails me. Uh,
Mm.
I'm happy to send the list. You probably can get
Mm.
it on your guys' website as
There's
well.
the email right there, folks.
Yep.
Yes.
And that, and I have something called the 5 keys to building a great brand, and all these are free downloads you get if you go to my website. I'm happy to do that. But anyway, let's dive in for the unique selling proposition. It
Mhm.
took me a while to really understand why this was so important, but once I did, I realized it was really the key thing that you had to figure out about your product or service before you could start doing any type of advertising,
Mhm.
because otherwise you would be wasting your advertising dollars. And we mentioned a textbook in the last show we did by David Ogilvy. It's called Ogilvy on Advertising, and that's the first time I read about a unique selling proposition. And David Ogilvy says you want your product or service to have a unique selling proposition, a public personality that defines who you are and
Mm.
what you do. And that's a great, basically, definition of a unique selling proposition. We'll talk about some examples in a minute. But then
Mhm.
I read another book, probably this is probably 5 years later. It's called The 22 Immutable Laws of
Oh,
Marketing by
yes.
Al Ries and
Rise
Jack
and
Trout.
trial.
Yep. Great
Absolutely,
book.
yes.
And Al Ries has a quote. He says, a branding program should be designed to differentiate your cow from all the other cattle on the range, even if all the other cattle on the range look alike. And
Yeah.
if you think about that, that's what a unique selling proposition is. What
Mhm.
makes your product or service different than everybody else out there? And if you can really come up with a strong USP, I can almost guarantee you're going to have a very successful business. And I'll dive in and talk about a couple of examples.
Mhm.
The
Please
first one I'd
do.
like to talk about is the Sonic Hair toothbrush.
Mhm.
Um, when that product first came out, it was a $150 toothbrush.
I remember that.
If they put the box on the store shelf, nobody would buy it because all the other toothbrushes were $2, $3, $4. I think the most expensive
Right.
electric toothbrush was $29. It was called an Interplaque. And so what was it about this Sonic toothbrush that was different? And after listening to a lot of testimonials of people that were using the product, we found out that really what the unique selling proposition of the Sonic Hair was that it had the ability to clean beyond the bristles.
Right.
And if you think about that, at the time, no other toothbrush on the market could do it. So that's what differentiated the Sonic Hair toothbrush from everybody else out there. And we started then advertising examples of what that USP was. And also then, this is an important thing we're going to get to in just a minute. What's the benefit to the end user? So I'm
Mm.
holding up a Sonic Hair toothbrush and it cleans beyond the bristles. What does that mean to me as a consumer?
So
Well,
what?
yeah, once we educated people about gum disease, and it starts between the nooks and crannies in your teeth, all of a sudden the benefit of the Sonic technology, cleaning beyond the bristles, you could reach into nooks and crannies, you could kill the
Wow.
bacteria that was the cause for gum disease. Then sales started to take off, and that company got very, very successful.
You could reach
You
where
know,
the brushes didn't reach.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a couple other, I've mentioned some of the products that I've worked with. I'd just like to talk about like OxyClean. Um, with OxyClean, their USP was the power of bleach, but safe. So here was a cleaning product that you could put in your washing machine with both whites and colored clothes, and you wouldn't have to worry about it staining the clothes. But at the same hand, it got the clothes perfectly clean. So that was what made OxyClean different than Clorox bleach, which was the 800-pound gorilla in the marketplace. It still is, but OxyClean had a lot of success. The George Foreman grill was very successful, and George Foreman grill, their USP was that here's a grill that our tagline was knocks out the fat. And so the grill was slanted as you were cooking burgers or any type of other food, bacon, whatever, the grease and oil would flow away from the food. And it actually, quote unquote, made it a little bit healthier to eat than if you were just cooking it in a frying pan with its own grease. So the unique selling proposition is really, really important. And if you can figure that out, it will give you something that you can really focus in on in your advertising. I'll just give you one more quick example, and then I know you guys want to say something. I didn't market this product myself, but I heard about it on a podcast, and I'm trying to think of the name now. It's called Death Wish Coffee. So you think about coffee, it's the most crowded category, and it's like, what makes my coffee different than everybody else's? So Death Wish Coffee bills itself as the world's strongest coffee. And that's the positioning and the USP that they have in the marketplace. And that's what helps them stand out. And you can see that on Amazon and other store shelves now, that the Death Wish Coffee is that their unique selling proposition is, and the thing that separates them from all the other coffee beans, it's the world's strongest coffee. So I like that one. That was kind of fun.
Rick, and I'm going to hit, you kind of hit it tangentially a point here. When we're talking about unique selling or unique value proposition, so many people in business think about what I call the get all you can all you get philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And a USP or a UVP is about not getting all you can, but getting all you can of the right people, which means there's a lot of people that they're not going to want that.
Yes.
And if you're okay with that, and it really is something to become okay with. I don't want people who want to drink low caffeine coffee.
Right.
I don't want people who just want to have a pocket camera, because we talked about GoPro on the last show.
Yeah.
I don't want people who, hey, all they care about, get me the cheap bleach.
Yep.
What I want are people that's an area that matters to them. Mm-hmm. And now they'll listen to me, and now they'll try me, and now they'll use me and become loyal to using me.
Yes.
So it's being willing. This is one of the hardest. Tell me if this is what you experience. Sometimes it can be one of the hardest things for a business, any size, to accept the fact that you're not for everybody.
Yes, that's the key. That's the key to being successful, is if you realize that, and you realize, the sooner you realize that, the better chance of success as a business you have, because you become laser focused. And we talked about this on earlier on a niche, and the niche that you can dominate. And the niche doesn't mean everybody, but if you can get a niche in the marketplace and establish yourself, that's the secret to success. And building on what you said, Emerson, not most products aren't for everybody, at least especially when they're starting out in their business life cycle. For sure.
And a great example of this are Apple computers. Apple, most people don't realize this, only owns a small percentage of the market for laptops, for phones, for all of it. But the people who use Apple products are intensely loyal and use everything. And it's not about getting everybody. it's about finding those people who will be intensely loyal to you and use what you have and love you and just think you're the best.
Yep, absolutely. Just talk about one more quick example before we move on to the next one. And we talked about this before. It was the Dormeo mattress, and very crowded field, especially direct to consumer. Purple mattress, just, you see advertisements, all types of mattress toppers. My Pillow has a mattress topper. But so Dormeo was entering a very crowded field, and basically what they had come up with, and we had a video at one point of this, is their unique selling proposition was they had the support of a metal spring, but the comfort of foam. And they showed a metal spring and a foam spring coming together. And that was their differentiator. And that's the thing that we advertised and the thing that made that product very successful. So, and again, you're not looking to appeal to every single person, but a niche of people. And if you can do that, the unique selling proposition is a very, very powerful marketing tool.
I think we still have that video there.
Yeah, if you want to pull it up, because that's a great example of.
Is that the one with Scott Reed?
Selling proposition.
Is that the one with Scott Reed where he's talking?
Yeah. So Scott is the CEO. Just to give a little background, Scott's the CEO of the company, and he'll explain what's unique about the Dormeo mattress, and it's called called OctaSpring technology.
Yeah. As you watch this, ladies and gentlemen, be sure and zero in what's unique about this. What makes it different?
We call it OctaSpring because of the 8 reinforced sides. And what they are designed to do is to give the perfect amount of support and pressure relief to your pressure points in your body. It's the best of both worlds. It's supportive like a spring, but it also cradles like foam. And because we can make them in different firmnesses, we have zones in our products. So we have a softer OctaSpring under your shoulders, and then we can give you more support under your hips, and that provides for great alignment. It's patented. Only Dormeo has OctaSpring, and I haven't seen any other topper that can do this because our OctaSpring technology is so breathable. The air blows right through it. The hot air goes out, the cool air comes in. You have that natural temperature regulation so your body doesn't overheat.
Yep. And I think the key thing he said there was, we're the only one that has it.
Yeah. We had another commercial on by them, and I love that when that lady's talking about the slab. Who wants to sleep on a slab? Oh man,
a slab of memory foam.
Yeah, exactly.
And she goes, forget memory foam.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you want to go out and throw yours out in the backyard or give it to the pups.
Rick, one of my favorites in this genre, which I didn't work with, and I don't think you did either. Eggland's Best Eggs.
Oh yeah,
they have a blue dot on them.
Yes.
Anybody who uses them will tell you they taste better, and they're lower in cholesterol and lower in fat and all of that. And all I ever say is, how do you know that?
Yeah.
Well, they know it because a marketer wrote it down and put it on a box.
Yes.
And they try it. But the people who, and this isn't a downer on Eggland's Best or questioning whether or not their veracity. But the thing is, how do you know it? Buying it and paying double the price in some cases for the same, all eggs come from the same place in the chicken. I hate to tell you this, but where, you it because you've read it, you've heard it, you believe it, you've tried it, it tasted good, you got something, you felt like you were doing something good. And so here you are. In a field, I have no idea how many billions of eggs are sold each year. Yeah. If you can do this with eggs, you can do it with whatever your business is and whatever your product.
That's a great point. I mean, you think how common eggs are, and they're sold everywhere. And what's the difference between one egg and another? And they were able to differentiate themselves from the competition. That's what you're trying to do with the unique selling proposition.
Yes.
So let's dive into number 5 on the list.
Okay.
It's, and again, these aren't in any particular order. I just wrote them down as I thought about them. But to me, direct consumer rule number 5 is use omni-channel marketing. And that's something, if you're in marketing, you might have heard about. My definition of omni-channel marketing is really just using many different distribution or sales channels as possible. And I like to use a diagram when I'm giving this talk. Think of a wagon wheel, and the hub of the wagon wheel is your website. That's where people go to get information and learn about the product and learn about you, the About Us section. They can see testimonials there. But then around that hub, that is a wheel, and you might have Amazon, you might have brick and mortar retail, you might have paid social ads, you might have PR, all of the different marketing channels. And one thing I try to teach everybody is find one channel that works first and start making revenue from one channel. That might be Facebook ads, it might be television, it might be radio, it might be influencer marketing, it might be PR, but find one thing that works for your business, get that working well, and then you can expand out in the other channels. And that's really how you build a good foundation for a good long-term sustainable business.
And Rick, that's a great point. And something else to consider, folks, just because something is the cheapest way to do it doesn't mean it's the best way for you.
Yeah.
There are companies and clients and programs and products and services that believe that thousands of dollars for a single lead is a good deal because the lead means so much to them. It doesn't, and I'm not saying you have to spend thousands of dollars for a lead, folks. I'm just saying you want to find that channel that your ideal customers and clients will listen to and respond to. And anything else is just an exercise, because your business is about how much business can I do? How many leads? How many new people? How many referrals? Those are the measuring sticks, not whether or not it's what everybody else is doing. Whether is it social media? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it running a radio ad? Is it running a TV ad? Or whatever? It's what works for your market.
That's a good point. Is I don't know how many times a week people ask me, "Oh, I need to be on TikTok right now," because all they read about is TikTok. And I go, "Can you advertise profitably on TikTok? I mean, can you generate a lead? Is it a better channel than other channels?" And I said, I have nothing against TikTok. TikTok might be great for certain products, but it still falls under the same rules. Can you measure it? And can it generate a better cost per lead or a cost per sale or a cost per customer than a current and something else you might be using? So I'm totally channel agnostic, and I'm a big believer in letting the customer buy the product where they're the most comfortable. And if you can do that, you'll get the biggest appeal for your business. You can take Dormeo, the one we just looked at, the unique selling proposition of the OctaSpring. Dormeo started out as an e-commerce brand. They were doing sales through their website. They basically started driving traffic using Facebook ads. They expanded into brick and mortar Canadian stores. I think they're called Canadian Tire or something, where they sell mattresses. And then they hired my company to produce an infomercial. So they were selling through TV. And so they found one channel that worked, and then they slowly expanded out. And it's a good example of how you build a good sustainable business.
I think that's a great example, Rick, that leads right into the next point on your list.
The rule number 6, having tracking and accountability.
Yes.
I have this on the list because it's so important, but I have to be honest with you. It's my least favorite thing personally to do, because I'm not like a number cruncher type of person, but I've always had a really good person usually on my staff or another agency that does this. But it's when it comes to direct response marketing or direct marketing, you really have to track the key indicators of what your advertising is doing, and the better tracking and accountability you have, it's almost like the numbers that control your business. And if you are doing that very well, you know immediately how well the business is doing. Or on the other hand, it might not be doing so well, and you have to change it, type of thing.
You know, something I tell clients all the time: I have no pride of authorship.
Yes,
it's not about, did I write a better Instagram ad or a post or a better email, or is this a better website, or is this it's like, I want to go with what works.
Amen.
Yes. And you have to know that
I
it's
did
working
this and
too.
you did that.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm working with a current customer, a client right now called Theradome. They make a laser hair growth helmet.
Okay,
and
yeah.
They were doing all B2B. They were selling through retail hair salons and Bosley clinics and things like that. And I helped them start their direct-to-consumer business. So now they have this brick and mortar retail business, but they're also selling on Amazon. They're selling on Facebook. They're selling on TV. And every week we have a meeting, and there's somebody that's measuring all of the advertising dollars that are being spent, and then how it's affecting sales, website visits, sales on Amazon. It gets very down and dirty as far as like
granular
and what's working type of thing.
What was the name of that product again? Because I know
called Theradome. And very interesting story. Former NASA scientist. He has a PhD. He's a biomedical engineer, and he developed some laser technology for the space shuttle that the lasers were used to do the spacing on the tiles that protected the space shuttle when it re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. And he invented this tool using a laser that did the correct spacing. And he took that knowledge after he left NASA. He took that knowledge and he said, what can I do? And he was losing his hair, and I think he had a hair operation. And he said, I'd like to invent something to solve this problem. And he had read about studies about how red light and laser light affects hair growth. And he came up with the concept of this. And then he did clinical trials, and it got FDA approved. And now he's got a very successful business. They'll probably do about 15 million in sales this year. So it's a good category.
And ladies and gentlemen, because I know a lot of our audience, I know what the demographics are. There's some guys out there that's probably saying, hey, tell me more about that. So what we're going to do here, and we always provide value. And Rick, that is their website there.
Theradome, theradome.com.
Yeah, theradome.com.
Yeah, THERADOME, Theradome.
That's it on the marquee. So you be sure and check it out, you folks, and see if it's because I know in hair products and, trying to regrow hair, there is a ton of stuff out there, and just take a look at it. Because if Rick,
there's a lot of science behind this one.
Yeah.
If you go to their website and check it out. It was funny because the last time I gave a talk at the University of Washington, I was talking about the Dormeo example. And after the talk, the professor emailed me and said, hey, where can I get a friends and family discount on the Dormeo mattress? And I said, sure. So now he has a Dormeo mattress. So you never know where a sale's going to come from.
Oh my goodness.
The hair growth example really leads into the next point on your list too.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is a crucial one that, God, so many businesses just don't put any focus on.
Yeah. And Emerson, we'll talk about and what the concept is, and rule number 7 is use authentic testimonials. Yes. And there's 2 things going on here. One, testimonials are important, but they can't be fake. They're authentic testimonials, and people can tell the difference. And Emerson, what you said is, one, I'm shocked at how many people don't use testimonials, and they're so easy. Or if you tell them they need to use testimonials, they don't think that their customers will give them a testimonial. When I've always had the opposite reaction. Every time I've reached out, if people like a product, if they get this and it actually helps them, they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, getting these testimonials are really easy. And I would have to say, of everything on the list, I know unique selling proposition is important, but having really powerful testimonials as part of your marketing material on your website will do more for selling your product than or service than just about anything else, in my experience.
Yes. And don't be surprised when you if somebody says, yeah, sure I would. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Be ready with an answer, because they want to support you and they want to share the experience, but they're not you know, sure of what it is they should say or anything else. Be ready for that.
That's a good point, Emerson. In my book, Video Persuasion, I have a list of 20 questions that I use to ask testimonials that basically, you know, it could be a 15, 20-minute interview. And these are questions, you know, why do you buy the product? What do you like about it? What do you don't like? How did you hear about it? And you go through the list, and by the time you're done, you really have a lot of great information about your product. And it's really important. And I just want to cover real quick before we move on to the next one is why testimony. There's science behind it. Why testimonials work so well. And there's three things that I've identified. One, they're great for overcoming objections. So if you're the marketer and you're marketing a product, why should the customer believe you? But if they hear it from a third party who actually has experience using the product, then it breaks down those barriers. You might be thinking as a customer, this product won't work for me because I'm too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, too rich, too poor. But then you see someone on the advertising that you can relate to telling you why it worked for them. It'll break down those barriers to purchase and those objections.
Yes.
Yep. And the second reason is testimonials are great for establishing credibility. You know, they're basically people that are using it, giving credibility to the product or service that they bought. And the last is the one that's the scientific one, and the one I know you guys have heard from. I like this book. I know I'm holding up a lot of books. This one's called Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. And he's a professor at at Arizona State University. And he's got 6 principles of persuasion, but one of his principles is called social proof. And social proof is basically just the concept that people can relate to. People like to see other people you doing the same thing. And then that's something that validates for them that it's a correct decision that they should buy. And he did actually scientific studies about it that show why testimonials are such valuable as social proof.
Yes. And they don't have to be perfect.
No.
In fact, people like to see, especially with video. I encourage everybody, and you probably do too, Rick, knowing your background, when you can get a video. Video can be turned into text. It can be turned into an audio. You know, you can take pictures, snaps out of it. But when you get somebody who's just real, they're just real. They stumble. Maybe they don't say everything exactly right. Maybe they make a little bit of a mistake. You know, or their hair isn't exactly right, or their makeup isn't exactly right. If people look at it and think to themselves, they're real. I don't know about the rest of this. Boy, that one's a little too fake for me, but I believe this one.
That's the authenticity for sure.
That's the authenticity.
Yes. We had showed a tape. I don't know if you have it, a video last time we talked about some of the Dormeo testimonials. And
I mean,
I'm not sure if you have that one, but it's a really good because it's a cross section of people. I think there's a school teacher, there's a record producer, there's a fighter pilot, there's a nurse.
I've got it. And what I love about this commercial is that there is people in there that will connect with you, and you could say,
Yeah.
hey, just observe. This is about 2 minutes long, but we'll be right back.
Trying to find a topper that might be able to do the same thing as having a brand new mattress. And that's what Dormeo did for me. It allowed me to have this new OctaSpring technology to relieve my pressure points and to allow my body to not overheat during the night without having to spend all that money on getting a brand new mattress. It keeps me cool, and it allows me to have a good night's sleep so that I am awake and ready the next day to be there for my students. I'm just very satisfied with the Dormeo topper and happy for the investment.
Being a former fighter pilot in the United States military, I can say that being under high G-forces, it puts tremendous strain on my back just in general. And so after 20 plus years in the military, I found that I was having trouble with my lower back and mid-back. With the Dormeo topper, I found that with the multi-zone solution and foam coils, I think that's been the key to providing me back relief, not only in my mid-back, but in my lower back. This is the first thing that's allowed me to wake up in the morning feeling refreshed. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, and I thank you for making this product for me and my family.
I was also not too enthused about spending thousands of dollars again on a mattress, and then somehow I saw an ad for this mattress topper that seemed a lot more doable, smaller, easy to deal with. And then when I tried it on the first night, I couldn't actually believe it because I literally just melted into the thing. So this was really just a really easy option to try. And that's all I wanted to do was try it. And then I wound up loving it.
I'm a nurse who is on my feet 12, 13, 14 hours a night. Patient care, bed to bed. You definitely need a good night's sleep. And if you're not getting it, you need to get this mattress topper. It was so worth the money.
Yeah. Wow. I love those commercials, that commercial there, because, the grade school teacher is starting out talking, and oh my goodness, the guy, she first of all, the grade school teacher, she's talking about, where it's cool and comfortable and not being hot and all that, because we can all relate to that. And then the fighter pilot talking about, how it helped his back and all of that. Then the third guy was talking about it wasn't that expensive. So, I mean, they're just pushing all kind of hot buttons there. And I like
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, for sure. And then every one of those was a real customer, and we reached out to them. We asked the Dormeo if we could send an email to their database requesting testimonials. Yeah. And these people were from all over the country. They responded, and we were able to, just like we're doing this recording, we did the recording online and then edit. It's just online video. And we put them in like a graphic of like a phone to make it look, that's how they were recorded. And I felt they were authentic, but I felt they came across authentic too.
Oh yeah. Because just like with me here on the show, you see me do free endorsements of products that I use, that I believe in, because I want that product to be able to be a blessing to someone out there that it can, that's looking for an answer. But also too, if you do not ask for testimonials, you're denying them a chance of being able to want what they want to share, that good news, because they want to help other people. Because if you find relief in something, you want someone else to find that relief too.
You're giving them away.
Yeah, exactly.
You're giving them away to give back. This is the thing. This goes back to the relationship thing we were talking about earlier, or on the last show, Rick. It's like, if I have a relationship with you, I want good things to be happening for you too. It's not a one-way street. It's not give me a credit card and I sell this to you, then I go to who's next.
Yeah.
So if you've helped me, if you've made it better, whatever it is that you've done or sold or that I've done business with you about, I don't know how to reciprocate and to do good things back for you, but I'm really thankful. Yeah. I'm really thankful. So this gives them a zero cost opportunity to do it.
Yep. It's awesome. And you'll see, if you aren't doing it, definitely reach out to your customers. They'll have great things to say. So let's move on to the next one. It's D2C rule
features,
number 8, and this is I
features
say
and
this about
benefits.
all of them. It's one of my favorites, but
Mhm,
it's called features versus benefits, and
mhm.
this is definitely if you're marketing a product. And this came about because I have done a lot of work with Amazon sellers who used to just talk about the features of a product. And to me, from a marketing standpoint, you always have to have the mindset of, if a product has a feature, what's the benefit to the potential
What's in it for them?
customer or the end user? Think of it in their terms. What's the benefit to them? Why should they
Yeah.
buy this? What is it going to do for them? And that becomes a marketing thing that you can advertise. And I have a saying, and I'll talk about an example in a minute, but it's features tell and benefits sell.
Amen.
And the more you focus on the benefits to the end user of what your product or service can provide, the more success you'll have.
You know,
yeah.
and I tell people regularly, you know, if you want to really get a feel for the difference, go to a hardware store, one of the big box stores, right? And go and look at the drills. Just look at the drills. And every one of them is going to have this tiny little card on it. It's going to say it's got this many cells in the battery. It's got this much torque. It's got this. And ask yourself, what is it that I need? What is in this for me? Why do I need this one versus this one versus this one versus this one? And that's the features and benefits, all the buttons, the whistles, the things that are important so often to us because we're so close to the business, whatever your business is. That's not what's important to the person. It's important because it's light. It's easy to handle. You can drill in almost any kind of substance, and you don't have to go to your cranky next door neighbor in order to get help. These are the things that matter.
Yeah. If one of those on the feature card had a saying, it was like, "This drill is perfect for building a fence," then anybody that was looking to build a fence would buy that drill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's a benefit. That's just an example. Type of thing.
We
Anyway,
talked
a
on
good example of how I used it was with the juicer, the Juice Man juicer. Just a real quick story, and we'll move on to the next one.
Sure.
All the juicers at the time on the marketplace were selling based on their features. They had a 0.5 horsepower motor, stainless steel cutting blade, dishwasher safe plastic. When we started marketing the Juice Man juicer, we focused on the benefits of the juice that came out. If you drank this juice, it could help you live longer. You'd have more energy. You could relieve pain, lower cholesterol, reverse heart disease. And there were actually things in the scientific literature about the elements in fresh juice that could do these things. So that was one of the ways that we were able to focus on the benefits of a product, and it really helped the sales. I'll move on to the next one because I know we're winding down in time, and that's D2C rule number 9 is educate the consumer. We've talked a lot about marketing and selling, but I'm a huge believer in what I call selling through education. And that means you educate the consumer what's different about your product. And the more information that they can get from the standpoint of education, you don't have to sell them. They make a decision to buy the product. And I just think it's you can see that in the marketplace today. The big buzzword is content marketing, content. So what are you doing with this content? You're basically educating the consumer about your brand. What's different about you? What benefits do you get? And it's all coming out in kind of organic content. And so the more that you can educate the consumer about your product and let them make the decision to buy it, that's one of my favorite types of marketing.
Well, and it's not just educating on a particular product.
Yes.
It swings right back around to branding, and you're educating them and you're building trust in anything and everything else that you have. If this is how I work with this, the assumption is this is how I would work with all of these. And so you're building something that's bigger than just selling a thing or a service or a product.
Absolutely.
And number 10 on the list, we better get that one in because we're running a little low on time here.
All right, we'll jump into that one real
quick. We're
quick.
Going to get this,
Yeah.
man. We're going to
That's
do
really
it.
that's a good one. Again, we could spend a whole show on it, but it's product positioning, and it's like, how do you position your product in the marketplace compared to everybody else? And just a real quick example of what that means is the Dormeo mattress. You can buy mattress toppers for $50 at Costco. We decided that we wanted our mattress topper. We called it the Premium Mattress Topper by Dormeo. So premium, you know, you're going to be paying a lot more money. We wanted to go after the top end of the mattress topper market. And positioning the coffee brand, Death Wish Coffee, they were the strongest coffee. That's the positioning that they wanted. GoPro camera, they came out and their positioning was, if you're an extreme athlete, this is the camera that you need. So there's always a positioning thing that you have to think about, and it ties right into what you said earlier, Emerson. Not trying to be something to everybody, but who are you positioning? What segment of the population are you positioning your product for? And again, some of these things require thought before you launch your product, but that's the reason we have this list and to generate that thought so you can have more success when you do make it to the marketplace.
In fact, I'd go beyond that, Rick. If there aren't people who say, this blows, why do I need you? Why should I pay this? Why should I do that? Why do I need your product? You got all these other ones. How are you like this? They're not the right person. You don't need to be dealing with them for the next 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't convince everybody they're not your customer, for sure.
Right.
That's
You're
right.
the one who says, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I've been trying to figure out, and you've just shown me, and and you've got all of these, and everything that you're talking about is exactly that's the person."
Yep. Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, right there, Rick, his website is directbranding.com. You can see the website there on the marquee. And be sure and send him an email if you'd like some information from him or ask him a question, whatever, rick@directbranding.com. And also Emerson, his website is there, web3direct.com. And you can contact Emerson by his email, web3@web3direct.com. And please take advantage of this, because you could see as I remain quiet most of the show here because these guys here were just firing, pow, pow, pow. And sometimes
when did you get on the show, Jim?
Huh? Oh, about 10 minutes ago. Yeah. But when the firing line is like that, that's when you sit back and don't get in the middle.
I want to find out a little bit more about the 3S tonic. That sounded interesting.
Oh yeah. It's a great product. I really do use this, folks, and I recommend it. If you're tired, blood and all that, take a look at it, because it helped me as a kid. Because when I was a kid, I was anemic. I'd get lightheaded and it scared me. So that's why I'm such a, believer in that product. Yep. And we got a few minutes left. And what else would you gentlemen like? Rick, what would you like to wrap up with?
If you don't mind, I just wanted to let people know that I have 4 books about marketing. One of them's about Amazon.
Oh yeah.
You can find all my books on Amazon. You can just put my name up in Amazon and they'll come up, or they're on my website as well. And they cover everything we've been talking about today, but in more detail.
Yeah.
Goes into the books, from selling on Amazon to building your brand to video marketing. Those are the type of things that I talk about in the books and cover. So a lot of great information if you're want to try doing a little bit better marketing for your business.
Oh yeah, because remember the old saying that everyone's heard, that a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, a video is worth 1,000 pictures. And Rick can give you some real good pointers on that with his book there. And, it's just, working with him. We've had him on the radio show. We've had him on several TV shows. And, Emerson, he is such a nice guy. He still likes me and just comes back and puts up with me. Can you believe that? I am so blessed, brother.
I'm really looking forward to doing the 6-minute webinar too. I'm excited.
Oh, yes.
About that.
You're going to like it, I think.
That's our honor to be able to give you your 6-minute webinar, to share it with you. And that's what you do in life, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that you have that's valuable, you want to share with others with the right heart. Never focus on the money, because the money is the reward of your efforts. focus on how much value you can provide to someone and how you can bless them.
You can't outgive a giver.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Because if you have that mindset and that kind of a heart, you're going to attract the kind of people that you want to be able to do business with, and also to have good clients who, as Emerson says, they like you, they love you, and they'll forgive you when you goof up.
And you'll be repelling the ones that are not like that.
Yeah. It's funny, there's so many principles that you bring up that are in my books, like this one called Building Billion-Dollar Brands. It's like I have the 5 keys to building a great brand, and one of them is deliver great value. And if you do that, that's like one of those foundational principles that every business should be thinking about.
Oh, yeah, it really is. Ladies and gentlemen, our time is gone. Thank you so much, Rick, for being with us. Emerson, it's always a pleasure, with you being on the show. My goodness gracious. Appreciate you guys very much. Be sure and make sure you love yourself first. Be good to yourself. Forgive yourself, because a lot of times we forgive others, pretty easily, but we're always hard on ourselves. Let it go. And, because we all goof up. And most importantly, we here at the TV show, we sincerely hope that you and your loved ones are blessed with health, happiness, and love in all areas of your life. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share the show with others. And again, to Rick and Emerson, thank you so much for making this show such a great success. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye now.